for a super segment talking about the super game coming up this weekend.
Big game.
Big game.
Is it a must-win, though? Is it a must-win?
Unbelievable that you're a head coach in your first Super Bowl, in your first season in Philadelphia. Or is this second season? Second season.
It's early, yeah.
But it's his first Super Bowl. He's never been the head coach, right? And they drop that on you. Well, how are you supposed to answer that?
I say be funny about it.
Well, no, I think he's trying. He's been patient. I mean, I told you some of the other ridiculous questions they've asked this poor guy. Even about his 5-year-old daughter dating one of the guys on the team. Just stuff like that. But yeah, it's for all the marbles, people. This is what we all play for. So you should already know that in your mind, that you don't even need to ask that question. And I understand that everybody's got a job to do as a reporter, but also as a reporter, show the guy some respect. Talk about the stuff he's accomplished. Don't talk about negative stuff that he has to think about going into the game, because I'm sure he'd rather be prepping for the game than sitting in front of all you guys and gals listening to some of these ridiculous questions. So, try to keep it. I just watched this thing from this other reporter for CBS that doesn't want them to have their kids up there at post-game press conferences. I think that's ridiculous. These guys won't do them then, because they already don't spend enough time with their families, especially the coaches. You can explain this better than me. Coaches in college and NFL, it's between 15 to 24 hours a day, but let's just say 20 hours probably spent at a facility watching video, prepping, going over X's and O's and all the other stuff. And these guys have no lives. So when they do get a chance to see the children or their wives or whatnot, to say now that, well, we have a job to do and you can't bring your kids up there because, they're, doing ridiculous stuff. These guys will be like, no, then we're not going to do the interviews. You won't have a job if you continue to be like that, because that's just asinine.
Yeah, there's a lot of time that goes into it, man.
Jesus.
It's kind of sickening.
I respect the NFL coaches the most of any coach. They're insane.
They're preparing for one game each week. It's not like they got a slate of games that they
right.
Like baseball or basketball or even hockey. They just obsess over so many details, and they don't want to leave any stone unturned. The details that I have heard today that both teams are going through preparation of this game, which this game's wilder than any other game that they're going to play. A lot of stuff has already happened, could happen, will happen, might happen that you got to prep for. I've heard that teams are even prepping for the occasional, streaker on the field. And then what do we do? How do we regroup when that goes on? Or, somebody pulls the lights and no lights are on in the first quarter. How do we regroup? How do we move forward? What do we got to do? And that's just, the crazy ancillary stuff. These dudes have broke down every single game that each team has played, every single play that each team has played. It's obsessive. It's very obsessive. So, yeah, when you get to this point, man, it's win or lose for these 2 weeks, it's the icing on the cake for these families. Don't be mistaken. The wives and the children's make sacrifices.
Yes.
Whether it's the coaches or the players. Like, they make sacrifices along with the team, and it's something to be celebrated. If you're going to do these 2 weeks and have this fanfare, the family should be involved just the same.
Absolutely. And it's not that big a deal. So, the fact that his daughter was basically mimicking him just shows how adorable she is. And, he didn't stop. He didn't, stop and, try to stop her. He was just like, I know she's over there doing this stuff with her hands. I'm Italian, and she's Italian, and she's mimicking me. But what are you going to do? How about this? You'll love this, because we got Anita Marks coming up here in a little bit. Survey taken, 50 million adults will bet $16 billion on the Super Bowl.
Okay, so I broke this down just to see where I run in the average. If that is true, we average $320 per person.
Is that close?
For me, I'm well under that mark, man. Well under that mark. I don't know about anybody else. Just as far as
putting the cherry on top bet for you?
Not really. I don't. Honestly, it's one game. It's one game. I'll probably be betting more on college basketball on the weekend than I will on this one game. Now, I don't know. I don't think I'll go to 320. I think I'll be well under 320 for just this one game again. Just this one game. Now, if you add in all the squares and all the other personal bets, all the props, I still think I'm under 320. So I do believe that number is true or those stats are true. I just think there's 100 to 300 people that are setting the average on the high end.
Absolutely. And I'll give you an example. So during that Chargers game where they were up 27-0, some jabroni spent $1.2 million at halftime to win 11,500 and lost.
Mac? Was that Mattress Mac?
It was not him. It was another guy. So just imagine that. This is a sure thing. Let me drop down 1.2 mil to win 11,000. That doesn't even make sense in my mind. I can't even begin to fathom that thought process that you either have way too much money or you're that much of a compulsive gambler. I don't know if I could even hand over the 1.2 to say I'm only going to get 11,000 in return for this. That's just nuts.
I like when they asked Mattress Mac after he wins the big one on the Houston Astros here this past World Series, like, how do you do it? I have a great tolerance for risk. That's like no skill involved. You just got to pay the token and take the ride, baby. That's what it's all about.
All right. We talked about Donna Kelce yesterday.
Making news.
She brought the boys, Jason and Travis, cookies up on stage. Are they going to let her do the coin toss?
So,
did she give cookies to the head judges or what?
Now, the petition is ongoing. There's a petition, if you don't know, ladies and gentlemen. Donna Kelce, the mother of Travis and Jason. Jason for the Eagles, Travis for the Chiefs. This is the first brother-brother playing each other. We've had brother-brother coach with the Harbaughs, but brother-brother playing each other. And Donna, I think I was calling Darcy yesterday.
It doesn't matter.
Donna Kelce has been...
call her Mama Kelce.
She has been the superstar of the first or the media weeks before the Super Bowl. And there's been a petition that wants to get her as the person that flips the coin toss. Now, she has come out and said, here's the thing. There are so many legends and people that have shed their blood, sweat, and tears on the field. And for a mom that's never played football, I don't think it's the right place to be. However, son Jason told mom she's discounting all the other mothers of every NFL player that has been out there. So then mom says, well, here's the thing. I don't know if I'd be a distraction. Would I be a distraction out there for you guys? And looks at the guys. That's what I'd worry about. So that's what she says. So it's still kind of up in the air. So Jason's trying to talk her into it. She's still kind of on the fence about it. The people want it. We'll see. Maybe it's a big coin toss surprise.
I don't think that the boys don't care.
Boys don't care. Boys don't care. Distraction.
I mean, Travis certainly is a loosey-goosey kind of guy. He doesn't care. I mean, the linemen. The linemen are way more reserved, and they're in their own little world before a game. But, I think he'd love to see his mom out there. Both of them. I think both of them would say, hey, mom did the coin toss.
When you ever have your family, you always talk about this, when your family would come to games, your biggest worry is like, where are they?
Where are they? Is anybody messing with them?
Right.
And I can't be there to defend them.
Right.
I mean, it's not so much how am I going to perform, especially Shea Stadium. Anybody's ever seen me. I suck. I was awful in front of 30 family members. So it was, and I wasn't trying to do anything different than ever. It didn't work. I didn't have anything work in those days, and
Well, this way, Donna, you know where she's at.
You know where Donna's at,
Yeah.
and she's going to be secure. And she might. Here's the thing: if I'm both of them, maybe she gets better seats. Maybe mom and dad get better seats because they gotta they're going to put her on TV. They're going to show her during the game, and her two boys are playing and stuff. I mean, she's a star.
She should be in Rodgers' suite. She should be in Rodgers' suite. I'd hate for her to be on the sideline. Then she's got to choose which sideline she's going to be on. She's already got the split
I don't think she's going to be
jersey.
on a sideline. She's got the split jersey.
Split jersey's nice.
I think
you
she should dye her hair both colors.
You got to you obviously have to set that up with the jersey companies, but do they make splits
I think the jersey companies are making her all kinds of stuff. Probably a jacket, and if she does the coin toss, they always get some kind of cool jacket.
Win or lose in the game, Donna Kelce wins.
Donna's a winner.
She's
no
a
matter
winner.
what. One of my sons is winning a Super Bowl this week, and It's going to be a hell of a Thanksgiving for that son.
Supermom. Mom of 2023 so far.
Most definitely.
All right, there's a crazy story in Philadelphia. Believe it or not. What's this place called? Big Charlie's. You heard of Big Charlie's in Philly? Guys ever been to Big Charlie's?
One of the few places I haven't visited
I
in
was
Philly.
going to say, you've been around that town. Big Charlie's is the only Kansas City Chief bar in Philadelphia.
I believe it.
They wanted to have a big game party. They sold tickets, like the first hour sold out. Big Charlie came out and said, we sold so many tickets so fast, we're going to have to turn so many people away. Therefore, we're canceling the party?
That's insane.
What? I feel like there's some fear there, win or lose for Big Charlie.
Right.
Big Charlie wins in Kansas City bar.
Somebody burns it to the ground.
I don't know, man. I don't put it past
I know
those
Philly.
Philadelphia
Kurt,
people.
I absolutely 100% think we're in jeopardy. Whether you think it or not, people are just bizarre.
Yes. Now,
and Philly are tough. That's a tough town, man.
But then lose as is that going to be so depressing, or is that going to be like the Philadelphia crazies are going to come over there and rub your nose in it?
Probably a little bit of that too.
Now you're not going to have any backup, but this story's out. I bet you there's about 50% of people that maybe more.
There's already crazies probably hassling poor Charlie.
Right. They had no idea Big Charlie's existed.
Exactly. Now they do.
No idea Kansas City Bar existed.
Put a giant bullseye on them.
Exactly.
I mean, listen.
Poor Big Charlie.
This is 2008, and I'm covering the game for Fox, and I'm there in Philly, and I'm living in LA. So I just want to go back. Get to the airport. I had like 6 o'clock flight home or whatever, 6 a.m. And so I was just going to get to my room and go to the airport because, I was there till probably midnight. It was like, no lie, Escape from New York, the Kurt Russell movie, Escape from
Fire
LA.
everywhere.
Fires everywhere, barricades
smoke
everywhere. You couldn't go anywhere. They closed every street down because of the turmoil. On the outskirts of Philadelphia, downtown Philadelphia, was rioting like it was awful. And every checkpoint I got to with my rental car, I had to beg the police to let me get to the next one. And honestly, it got to the point where they started calling ahead and saying, "Hey, this guy, whatever I was in, I don't know, Malibu or whatever," and they were like, "Listen, this guy works for Fox. He's just trying to get to the. Thank God it was a nice hotel, and it was actually right across from the Tampa Bay Rays hotel." And so I got there and got my stuff. I was like, "Don't park this car, don't valet park it. I'm getting right the hell out of here, going right to the airport," because I didn't know if it would take me hours to get there, and it didn't. A lot of the cops already knew I'd come through. I kind of backtracked the same way to get to the highway. But I'm telling you, I think if they win the Super Bowl, and I don't know what it was like the last night, we were talking about recent polls and stuff like that.
They ate police horse poo. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember
No,
the guy
I don't remember that part.
Yeah,
I remember that.
happened.
I
Celebrate,
don't remember
baby.
if they
We
lit
won.
things on fire and stuff, but
Poo eating. That's what they do.
What do you figure Big Charlie's paying for insurance these days?
I don't know, man.
Hey,
It could be a good ploy right there. If you want the insurance money, get the Philadelphia crazies to mess your place up, then you collect the insurance.
absolutely.
Think it, Kurt. You and Big Charlie.
That's me.
All right, we haven't talked about Eric Bieniemy. All these other guys are getting head coaching jobs. He's still coaching, not getting interviewed.
Yeah, in the Super Bowl. Now, there's a couple of landing spots that are still open there. I think the Arizona Cardinals are kind of lining things up.
You
for
think
him.
that they're holding the door for him?
There's still some more that could possibly come down the pipe, too. But, yeah, I do believe that
He deserves a shot.
I don't know. I think he's great where he's at.
Right.
I mean,
well,
he's
he
back
did
to the
say
Super
that.
Bowl.
He says he relishes his third Super Bowl trip, and hopefully they're paying him some good coin.
Oh, for sure.
He's
He's going to be fine.
He's going to be fine
All
out in
right,
Missouri.
this is the question I wanted to ask you guys, and this relates to everyone in the world. Super Bowl Monday. Should we have that off? Should that be a national holiday? The Philadelphia school system has either delayed classes, postponed classes, where they'll have a half day for the back end of the day so kiddos can stay up and watch the Super Bowl.
Aren't they going to have a parade like Tuesday or Wednesday if they win?
Possibly, and then school will be canceled that as well. I think if the Eagles win, school's done for a week in Philly. But Philadelphia, regardless, win or lose, has already claimed Monday will be somewhat of a city holiday, which I think is the right thing to do across the country. I think everyone should be doing that. We're all going to watch. We're all going to be horrible.
Even passive fans watch because there's some people who hate football, but they love the commercials or maybe even the halftime, Rihanna and Adele.
Of course. Kurt's in it for that.
Kurt's definitely watching because of Adele.
I know. We figured that out yesterday.
I think he's got a big crush.
But all three of us are going to be dead tired, even though, this is what we do every single night. It's still the Super Bowl. And you're right. We're going to watch the commercials. We're going to have to watch the post games. We're going to have to watch everything. And it's going to be a late night. So I think the rest of the country needs to get on board. And let's just make it a national holiday.
I don't like Adele as much anymore. I like a big booty.
Oh, because she lost weight. Oh, Kurt.
She still talks like a truck driver.
Yes, I do like that.
And her accent is amazing. How does she sing without the accent? I can't ever figure out the English, how they act and sing in, perfect English, and then when they start talking, I can't understand them.
Australians do the same thing. I don't get it.
They're just better than us. All right, Anita Marks, she's going to join us next, and we'll ask her the same thing, especially about the day off. I'm sure she would love the day off and all the other stuff. Anita Marks from the Daily Wager, 98.7 New York, and she was even asking me baseball questions. Maybe we could sneak one of those by her.
Oh, she wants a future pick. That's what it is.
There
future
you
World
go.
Series pick.
There you go. All right, we got Anita Marks next. Thank you so much for keeping us on the air. We'll be right back.